There was no call, no family meeting, no letter, no knock, no mercy. Just deceased. One word on paper. Like, that could hold all he was. Like ink could erase blood. The world decided his story for him, and they never even told me his script. I sat in waiting rooms where doors stayed shut. I called numbers that rang into voids. Offices saying, well, we'll check, then vanishing into files full of lies and neglect with plain indifference. Days became years. I learned the rhythm of rejection and how clerks' voices drop when they're lying by omission. We don't know where your son is, but I learned their language. Silence dressed as policy. People think losing someone means seeing them buried. But what do you mean when there's no grave? When there's only paperwork stamped over love? There's only me staring at an empty space, begging memory to speak louder than bureaucracy. Because Antonio wasn't just taken from this world. He was erased twice over. First by death, then by design. And every morning since, I wake up asking one thing. Where are you, my son? Where are you, boy? Not just your bones, though I'd kiss them if I had them. But where did they put your name? Who looked at my boy and said, close the file instead of sound the alarm? There's no caseworkers who remembers, no mothers stepping in, no cousins calling, not even false comfort wrapped in fake sympathy. Just Ronald Barron, standing alone, talking to air, with proof building like fire inside me. A child died invisible, and an entire system pretending it didn't see smoke rising. They think grief ends with closure, but try grieving without evidence. Try mourning without ceremony. Try screaming for justice when every door says you don't exist here either. Mentorship is the quiet revolution that changes futures. It is the act of showing up again and again with no agenda but presence. In the Outlaw Gospel that I've written, the mentorship is sacred. It is the transmission of wisdom, resilience, and survival strategies from one soul to another. It's the big buddy who listens without judgment, who teaches without preaching, who walks beside rather than ahead. Mentorship is not a program, it is a relationship. It is the difference between isolation and connection, between despair and direction. It is the father who teaches his son how to navigate grief, the mother who shows her daughter how to speak truth the neighbor who helps a youth draft their first motion. Mentorship is the antidote to abandonment. It is the living proof that love can be strategic, that care can be revolutionary, and that guidance can bridge between trauma and transformation. Every mentor in his gospel is a torch bearer, lighting the way for those still walking through the darkness. Language is power. It is the tool by which systems exclude and the weapon by which communities reclaim. In Outlaw Gospel, language is sacred. It is the poetry of resistance, the vocabulary of survival, the grammar of justice. It is the way we name our pain, our hope, our demands. The system speaks in codes: CYFD, TPR, adjudication, disposition. But the gospel speaks in clarity: love, loss, fight, return. Language is how we rewrite the narrative, how we challenge the official record, how we restore the dignity of those labeled disposable. It is the affidavit written in the tent, the poem spoken in the courtroom, the song sung in a shelter. Language is not the neutral. It is either a tool of oppression or a tool of liberation. And in this gospel, we choose liberation. We speak truth even